5 years. Not too far to go to catch up to Tom Baker.
Oh yes, that's the thing. I've only ever worn a scarf once, and that was in an audio play. Not a lot of people know that the Doctor was wearing a coat and scarf and smoke screen, but because there was a cold planet and Guy had a nice little overcoat. So I don't know what that's got to do with the question you asked, but anyway, no, 5 years. It certainly makes me one of the longer running fan audio Doctors. Nick Briggs in the audio visuals played it for a good number of years, about 7 or 8. We've had Gareth Preston's Fine Line Productions with Joe Binks, who's been on it for nearly 10 years. And there's a lot of other little fan Doctors that have sort of popped up over the place, done a year's worth of work and then disappeared. But I think in terms of longevity of fan actors playing the Doctor, certainly up there in the top 2 or 3 for the longest running.
Tell us a bit more about Guy for those of us who haven't seen it before.
Well, basically, Guy he's the new companion for Doctor Who in the 2nd season of BTR Productions, and basically he's like me, he's a smartass. I think he's there to really keep the Doctor focused and not have the Doctor get too carried away with saving the world. He's a bit light-hearted, brings a lot of humour into the story, so he's someone who's there to remind the Doctor that there is more to life than just going out there and saving the universe. You can party as well. So yes, basically that's Guy in a nutshell. He's generally smart-ass, funny, light-hearted, just keeps the Doctor sort of in reality as well.
BTR's 40th anniversary story is Dominion. What can you tell us about it without giving away too many spoilers?
Next question? No. The 40th anniversary story it's an interesting one. We're sort of trying, like the natural instinct of fans is to say, let's do a multi-Doctor story for the anniversary, because that was what was done on the 10th and the 20th and the 30th, but we'll ignore that one. But I think what we've done is sort of said, well look, let's come up with a story that sort of looks at the present of Doctor Who, takes it back to the past, looks at the future, kind of rolls it all into one, and throws in things like, let's question the Doctor's identity. Is he really who he says he is? Let's do some big things in this story, and that's what Dominion is all about. It's about big events. Nothing that happens in this story is small. Everything is part of a much larger piece of the puzzle, and what we're looking at here is essentially the enormous tapestry that is Doctor Who. And so I think the 40th anniversary, or the 40 years of the show, is a key to Dominion. We've got a lot of different elements in there that just makes up. I think it's a very big story. Size is important here. But yeah, it's not small scale. And I think there's a lot in there for everyone. We've got action, we've got excitement, we've got sedate moments, we've got university lecture hall book readings. But yeah, Dominion, it's going to be exciting. I think that there's something that for fans of the show, and because again, anything that celebrates an anniversary, I think has to be done for the people that are there for it. And so, if you're a fan of the show, you will find something in there for you.
The initial intention was to do something pretty special for the 40th anniversary. Matt said, look, such and such slot in season 3 is going to be probably coming out in November, so can we do something special? He had a couple of ideas. We already had a couple of ideas in the pipeline for 1 or 2 of the stories which might be going in that slot. So we thought about it a bit, and we thought, well, you know, what if we do sort of an emergency stopgap? I write one. Darren, our probably our most prolific writer at the moment, writes the other one. He, of course, even though he's writing part 2, wrote his first, which was great, meant I had a cliffhanger to work towards. But I'm glad to say that it's turned out to be a lot more than just a stopgap. I mean, I thought it was just going to be like this little thing to fill 2 episodes that we had vacant at the time, but it's become a lot bigger than that and very impressive, and I'm amazed by the way that it is sort of bridging the BTR mythos of Doctor Who. Like, we've got everything building up through a bit of season 1, the Watcher arc in season 2, and there's always ramifications, and we're sort of following those through now, and in a way setting things up for the future. And it's become, I suppose, an important arc episode is what it would be called in Babylon 5 terms, not one of the standalones. And I've got to say I'm really proud of it. My episode in particular focuses a lot on the Dr. Guy character interaction. That's pretty much the key focus of the episode. Darren's episode focuses more on the Doctor's quest for identity, which seems to be a bit of a running theme in BTR. I've noticed we had a bit of that in Darkness Falls as well, and there's quite a few surprises in there, and I reckon it's going to be a right treat. Certainly BTR listeners should really enjoy it, especially the ones who have been following the Watcher arc very intently. I think that they're going to love it as sort of the next extension from that and stepping on towards what is to come after that.
It ends off pretty much straight away after the first story in the season, which I'll be directing. But the Doctor is having identity issues. Something happens that makes the Doctor question who he is and what he's really been doing and what's happening. So they're giving too much away. Guy's there to keep him, as I said before earlier, Guy's there to keep the Doctor grounded, and I think it marks a really good point in the relationship between the Doctor and Guy, this story, because it just shows how much that they've grown closer to each other, not in a weird kinky way, but
It's not a prominent character, which I'm happy with, but it is appropriate to the show, and it ties in neatly with its own continuity, let alone the Doctor Who continuity, and I think it works well in heralding, in pointing to the direction the new series is going to, the next season is going to take. Obviously, I can't say too much more about it because not only is it spoiler territory, but I don't know myself. But I do like the way it's going, from what I've seen of the ending of Dominion, and the fact that it's simultaneously in a new direction and also tying itself into series continuity at a given point, which I think works well. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the season 3 script's going to be.
Oh, it's been an interesting ride. When I first started, I met Matthew at university, and he said that there was going to be a movie that they were doing, which eventually became Rapture the Heavens, and was I interested in a part? And I said yes, and that took a while to get off the ground, but that was sort of when I first heard about BTR and what you all did, and then Matthew helped me to read just a small role for the Gallifreyan recommencement, and I did the controller for that. It was like 3 or 4 lines. Then after that we did Rapture, and Matthew then asked if I wanted to be the new companion for series 2 of it, so I said yes. I'd be stupid not to. So I took a guy on board, and yeah, it's the first couple of years that I've been with BTR, I didn't really know what to expect, so I've never done audio drama before, never done radio plays. My experience has all been stage. Haven't done any movies or anything, so I leapt at the chance to do Rapture the Heavens, and I was glad I did that. And then I definitely grabbed Guy with both hands because it's all experience and it's all good, and I just love the character because he's such a smart ass.
To be honest with you, my hope was that we'd last 5 years and actually have everything finished by then. I didn't think things would get drawn out as much as they did, but then I didn't factor in the realization that, hey, we did this as a hobby, so it tends to be a weekend thing. So, but I'm really starting to enjoy it now, and I'm glad that we've been going 5 years. I thought 5 years might be it, and then we'd be finished with everything, but then unfortunately we keep coming up with more ideas, so it just keeps on lasting. At this point I'm happy for it to carry on going on. It's as Matt said, it's just too much fun.
And I think that's the one word that we can use to describe the whole sort of BTR experience, whereas the word fun. Because we only do this because we're not getting paid, because we're doing this just for the love of it. If it wasn't fun, we wouldn't be here. And I think it's a testament to the group of people that we've got here from the last 5 years since we started back in May '98 through to here we are now in 2003, that people from the beginning are still here, and we brought new people on board, and we've never had a bad word said about our recording sessions and about the actual fun levels and just the way that people enjoy coming along to these sessions. So yeah, fun, it's just been great. I've enjoyed it. I think the repeat season definitely will. A lot of people I've spoken to grew up with the show and now have young children of their own and are saying, well, look, I watched it when I was young. And they will almost certainly get their kids, pick them up physically, plonk them down in front of the box and say, watch. And I think that it could go either way. The kids could go, oh, yuck, look at this antiquated program from the 20th century. I'm going to tune out. But I think a lot of people might just say, oh, hang on. And the sort of essential magic of Doctor Who might capture a new generation. I think that's more likely given the length of the run. But Dominion, I think, something that people might, if they're a first-time listener, might tune in and might tune out straight away because of the continuity or the fact that it's taking place in the middle of this universe. But they might also say, hey, this sounds interesting, let's go back and look at the source material. And so I think it could really go either way, and only time will tell if it does succeed on whatever level it needs to succeed to bring in new people.